And so that's what we're changing out of our introductions. Third, now let's talk about how this strategy changes the meat of the content. What we're actually like the real bones, the potatoes, all right? Is that going from B-reel / vlog stuff, because we have made that, to list, steps, and stories. When we looked at the educational content that did the best, they had more of the right and less of the left. From razzle, I would love to say to dazzle, but it really is, it's just razzle on the left. And so I actually wanted to show a different type of content. So I don't want to make this seem like this is all YouTube-y. I just have like long form video there has all of the elements, and some platforms don't have all of them. So YouTube's a very easy platform to base this off of. But this is from Instagram, and TikTok would function the same way, etc. So if you look at the squares here, I just pulled the last 30 days of content that we made. And I looked at our bottom performing over the last 30 days that we posted that were reels. And then I looked at the top. Now, interestingly, it was almost a perfect reversal. So the bottom 12 videos that we made, 8 out of 12, I would say had more razzle emphasized. It was more about effects, a little bit higher production. And on the flip side, and this is what was crazy, and this is why I'm sharing this stuff with you, because like I would literally never have guessed it, and that's why we look. 9 out of 12, 75% of the best videos we had emphasized language, emphasized the actual message more than the production. And so it was about emphasizing the language rather than the razzle. I find this very fascinating. Now, to be really clear, you can have really bad language, or like poor, vague, unclear language, and it won't do well. And you might have razzle that just absolutely crushes. I just look at the trends of 75% on this side were this style or this type, and 75% that weren't as good were this style. Well then, let's do more of this and less of that. And so those are the main meat changers that we're doing in the videos. We're emphasizing language. This also is true with longs as well. So if I go and show you this real quick, language, that's on the screen, and that's one of our best videos ever. And that takes up 70, 80% of the video is actually just words. Interesting, for me at least. I mean, I was a little offended because I thought I had a good face, but apparently no one cares. So that's what we're changing about the meat. So let's talk about visuals. This one's a big one. All right, so going from overproduction, and I want to be clear, not overproduction for the objective. So it's not like my team did anything wrong or anything like that. It's just that if we want to educate, sometimes production distracts from the objective of education. If the point for entertainment is to get someone to watch, then adding lots of things can be a good thing. But if you're trying to learn physics, and there's whiz-bangs and pop-ups and changing backgrounds, it's really hard to learn. And if that's the throughput, or that's the point of the video, then it actually detracts rather than adds. And so the difference that I put in this example here is we have a background that changes colors while I'm teaching something. It does not help someone understand the subject matter better, fundamentally. Changing background color will not help anyone learn more. On the flip side, clarifying what words on a screen are, because maybe my handwriting's not that good, would help people understand. That's the difference. So overproduction to effective production. From distracting to enhancing. From visual effects to visualizing data. So instead of having flames behind me, it's what does this look like on a chart? So we can give relative scale, so we can have scope, so we can show changes over time. And so that's how the visuals that did the best looked like. And then number 5, let's talk about pre-work for a second. So going from post-production to pre-search. So instead of saying, hey, let's just record something and then fix it in post, anybody who's in the media side knows what I'm talking about, 4 weeks of editing after almost no prep to get a video out. Well, what if we did 4 weeks of research and then we have almost no editing because we thought of everything ahead of time? Well, guess what? The videos where we spent, the hour-to-hour ratio is stupid, and I'll get to that in a second. But if we spend a quarter of the time that we used to spend on post in pre, we eliminate 90%, 90, maybe 95% of our post-edit work and man hours. And for the business owners in the room, that's real cost. That's real savings. And for the also business owners in the room, that also means increased production. So if I can take the quarter of the time and I can get almost 0 time on the back end, that's 4 times the videos. But not only is it 4 times the output, it's also higher quality for your goal and your audience. So this is a big thing that we noticed. The videos that we spent the most time on the front end, we spent less time on the back, and they did better. And so we want to spend more time before than after. And so this is my little quote, if you want to write something down. An ounce of pre-work is worth a pound of post. So that was my little take on this. And so by focusing more on what educates and what it means, we do great. And everything else distracts from that goal. And so those are the 5 things that we're changing tactically and that we're doubling down on to cater to business owners. This, at least for my audience, is what they cared about. And I happen to be in that audience, and I feel that way too, so I'm happy about it. So that's how we went from for us, as media people to a degree, because I've gotten into this now, to for you, or for your audience.